Okay, so we are back. Small technical issues with online meetings and recordings.
Yeah.
If I understood you well at the end, most people, like the closer friends that you first friends that you had were Austrians from your from your program, from your faculty, but in general the program was quite international and there were people from all over the world. And I wanted to ask you, like, what was so you were talking in English, you were speaking in English between each other. How did they uh, handle that as Austrians?
Yeah, I think that's what I was saying before, that I think that's also why my German didn't really develop much in the first 3 years. The whole master was in English, and then everyone from Austria who I was friends with was really asking me every time, like, can we just, because they knew I knew a little bit of German, and I remember telling them at the time, like, it would be nice if we could, like, if I could have practiced a little bit. Of course, I didn't have the highest level at the time, but I think it would have helped. But yeah, but they were always like, no, but it's good that for me to practice my English, which is also funny because like their English wasn't bad. It's just that they didn't use it at all. So I think they always wanted to practice with me.
Yeah, it's with international friends. There is always some language to practice, and you have to decide which one is the first one. So let's talk a little bit about your master's studies. So, what was the difference that you noticed between university system in Austria and the university system in Nicaragua?
On addition to the fact that we don't have that many masters, I would say most of our careers or like bachelors, I would say compared to European standards, like I think they're quite long. But I think it has to do with the fact that we don't have masters. You normally spend, I think in social sciences is like 4 years, and for engineering, or I think mostly engineering and architecture, is 5 years. I remember people asking me why I studied before, and then they were always a bit confused with my age compared to my, yeah, with my education level, because they thought 5 years was way too long. Like they thought I had already a master, and I was like, no, this is just the bachelor, because that's how we do it. So I think that's one thing, and the other is that I would say like the demands of it was way less than what I expected. I don't know how to say it, but like the courses were not as difficult as I expect them to be. Like I really thought I would struggle with, I don't know, just the courses being too difficult or something, because you never know with the education you have if it's enough for European standards,
Yeah.
let's say, but also just in general in Austria. But I had the feeling that, for example, I would say as an example, the statistics in my bachelor were really good. And we even had like biostatistics. So it was really like focused on like how to do a statistic for experimental studies or for like monitoring studies and stuff, a different type of like environmental studies. And the statistics in the master was way too basic and not really showing us anything new. At least for me, it was not new at all.
Hmm.
So I was quite disappointed on that part. But then the parts that was more difficult for me was actually more the ecological ones, which were like the very niche courses on like macrosolventos or like the fish ecology course, because then they were very, because I think, for example, this level of knowledge, first of all, in the bachelor, you don't get it, but I would not expect also like Nicaragua to have this level of knowledge on their fish and on their macrosolventos, for example. It was just very, for me, it was very fascinating, but also difficult, because you needed to learn like, I don't know, 60 different species of fish and 60 different species of macrosolventos. And I was like, ah. My bachelor, I had to learn like botany. And for that, I remember learning a lot of scientific names. But other than that, I had the feeling that we never went on details on species and stuff.
So they are those are a bit different approaches in general. Like
Yeah.
what is the accent on?
Yeah. What is the
Okay,
focus
and
on?
what would you say that it was is the biggest challenge for an international student in Vienna? Is it related to the studies at all or generally life?
Yeah, I would say integration, as it is. This is very broad word and it can be interpreted in many ways, but I feel like feeling part of the life and the country as it is, or just like being accepted as you are, I think it's a very difficult thing in Austria. Because
And
yeah, because I feel like, you how to say, I had the feeling that Austria is very welcoming of internationals, of course, but maybe that also comes more from my experience in Innsbruck, that I have the feeling that you are accepted as long as you stay for a little period.
this is what I want to say. You are accepted until certain level, until
Yeah,
you are not.
until you're not, yeah. It's like, yeah, we're happy you're here. We're happy you're paying for our museums and getting to know the culture, and you're eating our schnitzel and having beer. But then after a while, it's like, yeah, we don't want to hire you, and we don't want to like get you to the right level of German or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
I think there is a level where you're like, people are happy around you, and I mean, I'm just saying in general, obviously, not like friends or family. Yeah,
yeah.
but then slowly you start to feel that the country is like not okay with you being here. You have
Mm.
passed your stay period. You know how they say.
Like a hospitality period.
Yeah, your hospitality period. Like
Yeah.
3 years and you should be gone or something like this.
Yeah. So, and what is was the way for you to finance during your studies?
Yeah, that was, I think, the toughest part for me. And to this day, I still feel like I have no control over it, which is very annoying because it was a difficult decision because I got the acceptance letter, I remember, in January of 2017, but then I couldn't find a way to finance my studies.
Hmm.
And my dad was really, yeah, he made a lot of pressure that I should do it, in that he will help me and we will figure it out somehow, and that maybe I could find some jobs and, finance it myself. And yeah, I remember it took me a few months to actually say yes, I would do it, because of course I was excited to be accepted in the program and everything, but I was like, yeah, how am I gonna pay anything? I mean, for 7 years I was working in Nicaragua, and I was very happy with the independence that it brought. Like, I had a car,
Hmm.
I could pay all my bills by myself. I mean, I was in Nicaragua, it's very common that you stay with your parents unless you get married. So I was in the house where I grew up, but
Hmm.
I shared the bills with my mom, and I paid a few things actually by myself to support like the lifestyle that I had. Anyways, the point is that, yeah, economically speaking, I really developed an independence, and I think this was difficult for me to accept and to be okay with, that I was gonna kind of like be again dependent on like my dad, basically, because at the time
Hmm.
he had the means to help me, and I had saved money, and that helped me a lot. And I also sold my car, and that also helped a lot. But I mean, it literally helped for like a year, and then I think I really struggled with the whole financial thing. I did get some funding when I went to Kenya, but that was just a semester. Well, it was literally 3 months.
Mhm.
Because you could apply for, yeah, I said that during the master we share some courses with this other international master, and you could apply for a semester in Kenya, and then as a Boku student, then you could apply to funding, so for going abroad. And for those 3 months, I had this extra funding. Then I really saved a lot, because in Kenya everything was super cheap. It was not the easiest period money wise, because I had to really count every euro I spent. It was also difficult to find jobs, because I wanted to, work half
Like a
time or
student jobs, you mean?
student jobs. Yeah. Because for that was like, either the language was a problem, and many times they said no because I didn't know German, um, or two times it happened that they wanted someone that had experience on doing like barkeeping, because I really apply, regular student jobs, like, I don't know, working at a bar or a coffee place. And they literally wanted someone to have like barista experience, bar experience. And I'm like, well, it is supposed to be a student job. I don't think every student has this experience already. But anyways, apply probably to a few things, and yeah, none of them work. And at the end, until I started the master thesis, that's when I could apply to working as a technician in the where we met in the Vasa cluster in Lund. And during that period, at least I could get some money.
You actually often hear a couple of topics, so I will try to remember all of them.
Okay.
The first thing I wanted to ask you, how was this one semester in Kenya? How did you like it?
Yes,
And what did this experience give you in general?
it was really awesome. Like I'm really happy that I did it because again, it's also a moment of decision whether you do that or you stay here. And because of course it was also a whole thing to apply for it, and you needed to have good grades. This is actually for me never has never been an issue. And actually, some Austrian friends were pissed at me because because the yeah, I think there were only like 3 available scholarships. Um, and they really wanted to get them, but since I had better grades than they did, they chose me. And then they were actually like, didn't you as an international student could have applied to something else, like, some other funding or whatever? And to be honest, I looked and no, there were no other funding options for me. So I was like, well, that was the one funding option. So like I of course took it, and yeah, too bad you had bad
I mean,
grades.
you
But
had a
anyways,
right to apply for it, so you were eligible.
but yeah, it was a bit funny. So point being that yeah, so it was great. I really enjoyed everything. It was really, really fun. Like it was very intense because I don't know if it's the Kenyan system or it's just how this master is built, but the structure of it was insane because they made you be at the courses at 8 a.m. and you wouldn't leave on like regular days of lectures. It was like from 8 to 5, only with
Yeah.
like two 20 minutes breaks in like one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and then like
Oh my God.
an hour for lunch. So it was really super mind boggling because it was so much information. And then on days when we had like field trips, it was even more insane because then you would like get up at 5 to be at the river or the lake at, I don't know, 6 or 7, depending where we were going. Which is okay because in the tropics it is like this. Like in Nicaragua, we also did this. Like you would never go sampling after 10. Like you would always go in the mornings because otherwise you die in in the heat. So this part wasn't the most insane part for me, but of course for everyone else, like waking up at 5 was very insane. But I think for me, the hard part was that we were expected to be done with like filtering and analysis and everything within even the same day sometimes. So we would come back, I don't know, at 5 from the field and then spend basically the whole night in the lab until like 12 or 1 in the morning, which was insane.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, that was very intense. But then again, very fun because we somehow, and this I have to thank my Austrian friends because they were really crazy. They would somehow manage to plan a weekend in some little town or somewhere. And so we actually got to travel quite a lot. So even though we had courses still until Friday at 5 or so. So sometimes we would take a bus directly after class and then go somewhere, spend the weekend there, exploring the country, and then come back Sunday night, and then Monday again to another class.
Mm,
So it was
that
like,
sounds really nice.
yeah, it was really, really cool because, yeah, we got to see a lot of, well, what you can see, you know, within 3 months. But like, I would say, yeah, we got to see a lot of the countryside of Kenya, which is really cool. And because the courses were about lakes and rivers, so it was also really nice that we basically got like free touring basically around Kenya because we had to go to so many lakes and they were all super beautiful and very diverse, like from soda lakes to like deep lakes, and it was really nice. And then we also had 1 week where we could go to the sea, but this was organized by the university.
Mhm.
So we went to Mombasa, and that was also very amazing. Like we just went to the Indian Sea and spent like three
Sounds
days.
really nice.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was really one of my best decisions ever.